Hi, I'm Rashid Ogunlaro, coach, speaker, and author, and welcome to my latest video series, Influencing Others and Managing Difficult Conversations. And guess what? In life, in leadership, there's going to be many challenging conversations, many difficult situations, and many times in which we're going to need to influence others. It comes with the territory. This is part of my Coaching Yourself and Your Team and Compassionate Leadership series, because what we're wanting to do is to do all of these things compassionately and mindfully. And this is part, of course, the broader leadership short series brought to you by NHS Southeast Leadership Academy. I'm Rashid, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, and my job is to help people move ahead in their lives and their careers and their organizations, including as a leadership coach. So the first thing here to say about influencing is that we need to be strategic. So we need to be mindful about strategy. Perhaps you've seen some of my other videos in this series where I've talked about being strategic. Who are you? What's going on in the team? What's going on in the organization? What's going on more broadly? Who are the key stakeholders? Who are the people who are here to serve? What's going on in broader society? This strategic awareness, it's like zooming out and becoming more aware of your surroundings and the key players, is going to be really important. It's going to be very difficult to influence and to have those conversations without that strategic awareness that you need to have. And remember that communication is going to be the breath, or it's going to be the death of every relationship. The communication is going to be key. So we need to be aware of what's going on in the train, what's my task, what the tools I need, what's the team I need, and being tenacious about how one does that effectively, and the tactics and the timing. So the first thing for us to be aware of here is the psychology. You can't influence with anybody without understanding what makes us tick. And as you can see, these two people here, these could be any people of any background, any color, any race, anywhere, anybody, and they're both thinking, why don't you see things my way? Think about it. This might even happen. It can happen anywhere. It might be, you might think that's me and my boss, that's me and my colleague, that's me and my ex-partner, that's me and my sibling. It can happen. And here's the reason why. Well, because we have different ideas, different beliefs, different backgrounds, different values, different information, different circumstances, different abilities, different things that are going on, different viewpoints, different ideologies, different perspectives, different prejudice. You might think, I'm not prejudiced. But if you think about it, prejudging, we're constantly prejudging this, that, the weather, what tomorrow's going to be like, what this project's going to be like, and so on. So we need to be mindful that there are all these different factors, different personalities, different priorities, different desires, fears, these different skills and abilities, different concerns, constraints. And what we're wanting to do that I put over here are my 7 steps, building rapport. Without rapport, there is no respect. From respect, then suddenly with rapport, there's this relationship, and we can begin to build that sense of reliability and responsibility and demonstrating it to deepen the relationship. We start to relay and refer, and then we can get results. But it should be about the reciprocation. It should be about win-win throughout every relationship. Now, when it comes to, and bear in mind, for any of these slides at any moment, pause, reflect, write your notes, to help you along your way. And there is a leadership guide that accompanies this one. And so this is a slide that I use a lot when I'm coaching people individually. This is the most common slide that I share. Communicating, presenting, and influencing. So the key thing here, if we're wanting to influence anybody, your boss, the director of finance, the chief executive, this particular person, this person, the CCG, this person, your aunt, whoever. What's your goal? First of all, what's the goal? What's the outcome specifically? What are you trying to achieve? Oh, to release this funding for this particular program that's going to help people in this way. Oh, it's to get people to volunteer to take part in this. It's about this or that. What is the goal and the outcome? Often we know there's a conversation to have. Often we don't think about the goal or the outcome. So what's the goal? Who's the audience? You need to tailor every message to the audience. Who are they? What do they want? What's going to make them tick? And as you can see, they're not all the same. They're all different. And what's the timing? And then that helps us shape what's the message, what's the best medium or mediums to deliver it, and who's the messenger? Is it always you? It might be that it's your boss, it might be a colleague, it might be you're going to rub everybody up the wrong way, and it needs to be somebody else or vice versa. It might be you're exactly the person, because you're the person who needs to lead on that. My background used to be in media communications and so on, and my job, a lot of it, was to pick who is going to be the best person to speak on all of these different mediums, be it on ITV News, BBC News, on this, to speak to this newspaper, to based on all of these different things and the audience, it's on who would be best placed. The message always needs to be clear, considered, concise, and comprehensive. So sometimes it's the dance between those. Calm, consistent, and compelling, relevant to your audience. When you've got to have difficult conversations, when we bring that into it, you need to always ask yourself what your intention is. Your intention just to prove that you're right? Or is it to empower everybody? When we're leading from the heart, it's always about how it is that you can enrich and empower and support everybody, so that you get the input right and the impact, and think mindfully about the best timing for them, for what you're trying to achieve, for the people you serve. So there's a lot to consider here. My homework for you can be to invite you to draw out an influence map. Who are all the different people? Get a piece of paper and draw out who are all the different people you're trying to influence. What's their name? What's their role? What's your goal from them? What are their drivers? What would be the win-win? Because remember, it should always be about that win-win. Remember again, there are all these factors, and we're beautifully different. I have this saying, we're one at the root, but we're part of the branch. Different personalities, priorities, desires, fears, circumstances. Be aware, of course, about things like diversity, equality, inclusion, different gender, faith, race, age, sexuality, disability, and cultural differences. This is what makes us beautifully diverse. So this can be happening sometimes. You think you're talking about the same thing, but we see the world differently. So taking that time to really listen and understand others, understand what makes them tick, being curious. Where you have got difficult situations to manage and difficult conversations to be had, here are some tips. First of all, pause, breathe. Do you need to react or respond? If so, when, where, whom? Are you aptly informed and skilled and well placed? If not, get that help. Be strategic. Make sure you're doing this aligned with the company goals and values. Take a look and see the big picture before diving in, and zoom into the detail where required so that you're thorough. If it's apt, then act now. If not, review, plan, follow up, etc. Communication throughout is key. And always being clear, crisp, concise, compelling, and kind and compassionate, and being professional. So a couple of other tips I put here that you may be familiar with. I'd say first of all, be aware, when do you need to step forward? When do you need to step back? When do you need to step alongside somebody? Always seek the win-win. Do not jeopardize a short victory on your part that you prove that you're right for a long-term relationship. Never do that. Use the feedback sandwich of giving people rich feedback, starting with the things that are good. Thank you so much for leading on this, this, and this. I'm just mindful that there's a couple of things that we're going to need to address to move these things forward, A, B, and C. But thank you so much for X, Y, and Z. That feedback sandwich means that people can make what you're wanting to say here more palatable. Sometimes you can need to stand your ground. I can't do this, but I can do that. When you need to deliver difficult news, say it straight away, and then focus on all the time, or the rest of the time, on getting that feeling right and building that relationship. Covered quite a lot of ground in this very short video. Probably lots for you to sit with. That, by the way, we could have done an hour version of that. But the essence, the key fundamentals are quite simple and straightforward. So as you reflect, I just want to recap on some of those things that we've done. So let's just begin to just think about what we've talked about here. So being strategic, being aware, realizing that we all see the world differently, being clear, calm, considered, thinking about our goal, the audience, message, medium, messenger, the influence map, knowing who it is that you're needing to influence, being aware again of that difference and that diversity, and taking that time to understand and to support your team, all who are different, all may have different needs. So we need to treat people equally, but not necessarily the same, because they need different things from us. And managing those difficult situations, pausing, breathing, being mindful, taking the time, and framing our conversations. So what's been your learning? What action are you going to take? Perhaps there's a number of conversations that you need to have at home, at work. want to wish you all the best, and want to thank you so much for being here and watching this latest in this series. Take good care. All the best. Bye-bye.